In this process of considering a 21 day or as many days as we can fit in through the rest of the semester challenge for the pursuit of happiness or raising our baseline of happiness, I thought it would be beneficial to help you with the process of meditation and allow you the opportunity to have a set time where you can learn to meditate. Meditation, just like any other skill, takes a lot of practice. And myself, when I was learning to meditate, one thing that happened quite often for me was that I quickly fell asleep. So don't worry if it doesn't feel easy for you at first. It's a process. It's something similar to a muscle. You have to practice it and you have to keep consistent, because the more you practice, the easier it becomes. If you've never sat with yourself, if you've never sat in silence or sat in quiet, it can also be a little anxiety provoking. So be sure to listen to your body, listen to your mind, and just become what we call the witness in this process of meditation. To begin, this is going to be your general overview on how you do it, and then I'm going to make a separate recording for meditating. So we're going to get into the position of meditating. You can sit on a chair, you can lay down, but be careful because you can fall asleep very easily if you've never really trained yourself to be in this quiet space. So you can either let yourself lay down, you can sit in a chair. The big thing to keep in mind if you're sitting on a chair is to let your feet touch the floor and sit pretty straight, 90-degree angle so that your back is straight and your feet are on the floor. Or you can sit cross-legged on the floor in kind of crisscross style, or you can also kind of fold your legs into one another in what we would call like a half lotus in yoga. So whatever feels best for you, just let yourself do it. If you're laying down, let your arms come out to your side, your palms facing up, and you're going to be in kind of what we call shavasana in yoga, and it's actually called the corpse pose. And it's also been called the most difficult pose in yoga because it is asking you to just remain still, which can often be very difficult for us. So once you get into whatever position you're comfortable in, if you're seated, just let your hands rest on your knees. If you're on a chair, let your hands rest on your knees. If you are sitting kind of cross-legged on the floor, then you can take your hands out to your knees and just let your hands to the side. I like to support myself with a wall when I'm sitting in a cross-legged posture, or you can fold up a towel or a blanket or a pillow and just place it on right under your bum so that you kind of lean forward. So almost like you tilt your pelvis forward. So whatever feels most comfortable for you, for fine. It's not about, it's not always, meditation isn't about sitting cross-legged and humming and, it doesn't have to be about that. The whole intention of meditation is truly just to allow your mind the opportunity to quiet. And one thing to keep in mind is that you can never have a clear mind. We would call that a coma. So we don't want to do that, but we want to just allow yourself to become almost like a witness to the thoughts that you're having so that you're not attaching to them. So when you're in your posture, in whatever position you feel comfortable in, just let yourself breathe for a few moments. Just let the breath come in, let the breath go out. You're not doing anything to the breath. You're not trying to control it. You're not trying to lengthen yet. You're just easing in. Just let yourself breathe and focus on your breath. Sometimes our thoughts start to go. It can be 2 minutes before you realize that you're thinking. Let your breath come in. Let your breath go out. And if you need to give yourself something to keep you focused on the breath, you can say to yourself, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in, and I'm breathing out. You can continue to do that, or you can just let yourself kind of ease into this. Now, here's the trick with meditation. You're not necessarily trying to stop thought. We're not going to do it. It's part of our lives, and you have to really practice yourself into the position where these thoughts aren't flooding uncontrollably into your mind. So as you start to just breathe and feel into this, if a thought comes into your mind, recognize it immediately. Just recognize it and say, I'm thinking. And then, just like the clouds would float by in the sky, this is where you just watch that thought float by. So don't attach to it. Don't become emotionally invested in it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to push it away. Just recognize it and then watch it move away. When we witness our thoughts, it's as though we're acknowledging them, but we're not attaching to them. And this is the practice of meditation. The more we continue to just become a witness, the more that we recognize that we're thinking, or that our thoughts are starting to spiral, the better able we are to recognize this in everyday life. So this is the process of meditation. It's not necessarily to sit in a full lotus position and be able to just cancel out the world. In all actuality, we want to engage with the world. We want to immerse with the world, but we want to do so with a clear mind, with an open mind, one that we're not attaching to everything that comes our way, one that we can remain neutral, especially as a teacher or in any helping profession. What we want to keep in mind is that in order to truly serve the needs of others, we have to be able to really serve our own needs first by being capable of regulating our emotions. As we get better at regulating our emotions through things like meditation, we're more capable and able to serve those around us. So as you engage in this process, just let yourself relax into it. I'm going to give you some guides. I'm going to give you some verbal feedback, but it's also going to serve as a 5-minute meditation time. So the next audio recording will be for your 5 minutes a day of meditation. I may even create a 3-minute and a 1-minute where you can just tap into that access. You know, if 5 minutes feels really difficult for you, doesn't matter, just start with 1 minute. Do 1 minute 3 times a day, or do 1 minute twice a day. The key is consistency. It's not about, oh, I meditated for an hour and then I didn't do it again for 3 months. But it's about the consistency of just being self-regulated and able and capable of doing this on a consistent basis.